Today's Bible reading is taken from the book of Ecclesiasticus. Ecclesiasticus is one of the most peculiar books of the Bible. Gloomy, pessimistic, somber, even cynical sometimes. And yet, at the same time, also strangely refreshing. Why? Because it is the book of a man who simply doesn't want us to entertain with, if you allow me to say so, pious scrap, but who simply tells us the truth without beating about the bush or mincing his words, just the naked truth of life as he sees it, no matter how sad and miserable it is. In Hebrew, in the language of the Hebrews, the book of Ecclesiasticus is also called Kohelet, which means the preacher. And the writer of this book, the preacher, is usually identified as King Solomon, the wisest king the Jews ever had. When Solomon wrote this book, he had become a very old man who wanted to pass on to us all the wisdom he had learned during his long, long life. Now, mind you, according to worldly standards, Solomon had not been a poor or unlucky man. In his life, there was nothing to complain about, you would say. On the contrary, he had been very lucky and fortunate. A man who had seen it all, who was given the chance to experience every joy and delight this world had to offer, king of a peaceful and powerful country, and prosperous country, rich, powerful, honored by all, wise and clever, with a long, long life, surrounded by hundreds of concubines. Some small boy wrote once a composition about Solomon in which he made a mistake and said that Solomon was surrounded by not by hundreds of concubines, but by hundreds of porcupines. Hundreds of concubines and slaves who were willing to obey his slightest wish at the snap of his finger. And what is the conclusion of this fortunate man? Vanity of vanities, and all is vanity. It is all in vain somehow, he says. It is all hopeless, without purpose. All our accomplishments, all our achievements, all that we see and experience and take in of this world, at the end of the day, it is vanity. It is pointless. One of the most famous lines in sacred scripture comes from this book. There is nothing new under the sun, says Kohelet. There is nothing new under the sun. Well, we would say under the rain, but anyway, he said under the sun. It is as though this old man is looking around, and when he hears people, especially young people, exclaim, "Now, that is interesting, that is new, and that is worth looking at," and he kind of sighs and says, yes, I have seen that before. History repeats itself. There is nothing new under the sun. Today short hair, tomorrow long. Today long skirts, tomorrow short. Today peace and tomorrow war. Joy today and tears tomorrow. It is up and it is down. We win and we lose. We live and we die. Round and round and round again we go in the wheel of fortune, but it does not lead us anywhere. Vanity of vanity, and all is vanity. Well, dear friends, we may wonder now what such a gloomy and pessimistic book is doing in the Bible. I think one of its great merits is that it teaches us clearly and unmistakably that for the human heart there is nothing here on earth that can ultimately be fully satisfactory. Because as the spiritual masters have always taught us, ultimately our heart is made for God.